Hey, what is up guys, it is Silver Sun here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review on the Samurai Jack Season 5 Episode 2. So we start off with surprisingly Aku. I didn't really think we'd get to see this guy until like at least the middle of the season, but nah, he's right here front and center, and he's not really looking that intimidating to start off. I mean, in the first episode they weren't really like hyping it up and whatnot, like we heard his voice and whatnot, but like, I just expected him to be like a little bit more menacing this time around, especially being on Adult Swim and whatnot, and with all this stuff we've seen, all the tension and just like how much darker this show's gotten. I mean, it hasn't gone completely dark, but like since this episode premiered, it's well getting into that territory. I mean, the first episode it wasn't really that dark, it was just getting us introduced, but here stuff escalated pretty quickly. But just to start things off a little on a lighter note, pretty much Aku wakes up and pretty much he's talking to these scientists who are basically telling him that, oh, they made like this new beetle machine that can definitely defeat Samurai Jack, and then pretty much Aku's like, oh no, I don't really care about all that stuff, that was the old me and whatnot. And so pretty much he doesn't really care if Jack like dies or lives, I believe. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure he wants him to die, but like he didn't really think that like after all this time he'd still be, alive. It's been like 50 years and he's still wandering around, everywhere and stuff like that. And I thought it was kind of funny, like him having a little therapy session with himself. I thought that part was pretty funny. But as far as his voice goes, it was pretty spot on in a way. Like, he did have a bit of an accent, but other than that, the replacement for Mako was a really great one. He did a pretty good job here as Aku for the second time technically. So to really kick this episode off, we actually start on this wolf, and pretty much throughout the episode this wolf kind of appears and whatnot. Is pretty much some symbolism throughout the episode and whatnot. And well, I'll probably get into that stuff later and whatnot, but this episode was pretty epic. I just have to say that right off the bat, in terms of like everything, animation, story, pacing, and all that other good stuff. But pretty much this wolf's like wandering around, and pretty much he gets like attacked by these other wolves, these like weird alien big looking kind of wolves and whatnot, and they pretty much begin to fight. And then we cut back to Jack, who's pretty much wandering around kind of like the wolf, and then he gets attacked by the 7 assassins, which I didn't like. I feel like I don't know how I feel about the pacing so far, because I felt like they probably like stretch it out a little longer. Like, I didn't think we'd see Jack fight them until like at least like episode 3 or something like that, maybe. But nah, he's like already getting ambushed and attacked by these people, and pretty much he gets out. Oh wait, well, before I should say that, pretty much that whole thing with the beetle and the scientists and whatnot, he destroys it very easily and whatnot. Not really too much to say there, just kind of died, get that in there, but pretty much he gets attacked. After that, he gets attacked by the assassins, and pretty much his bike gets blown up. His like armor gets ripped up and whatnot. His guns get destroyed and stuff like that. He pretty much gets everything taken from him and stuff like that. And so pretty much he pulls out the machine gun and starts like shooting everywhere and whatnot. But that didn't really do too much there. So pretty much he gets this I don't know, I think it was like a grenade like belt, pretty much. Like, he had like grenade strapped to him and whatnot, and he just like threw it behind him and whatnot, so that then it would leave like a trail of explosions so they wouldn't come after him. And then so pretty much after that, Jack's pretty much hiding out in this like the like scraps of metal and whatnot. And then pretty much he has another hallucination of himself, his past self basically. And pretty much he was telling him like, I want to get out of here, I want to go back to the way things were, I want this to all just end already, I don't want to be stuck here in the future forever and whatnot. And then some people were saying like that was kind of hindering him, debating on like whether to commit suicide or not. Like, I don't know, like there was that one instance where he said like, oh, there's no more honor and whatnot, the only honorable thing would be to, and then President Jack pretty much cuts him off right there. I mean, like, I guess it could technically, but that wouldn't have really been pretty fun, having Jack kill himself in the second episode. That would have just been very, very lackluster and just horrible. But already people are coming up with their own theories and whatnot with the whole Green Horseman and whatnot. He showed up in this episode, just as a flash, like the little silhouette that they have and whatnot. But pretty much, I think that's pretty cool that there's all this mystery and stuff like that, as to what's gonna happen next and stuff like that. It really reminds me back to Gravity Falls and whatnot, when people would come up with their own theories and whatnot as to what would happen in the next episode and stuff like that. Also, they pretty much kind of talked over how is he gonna defeat a coup without his sword and whatnot, and there wasn't really an answer to that. So obviously he's gonna have to get it back, but the question is how. So Jack pretty much sees this temple out in the distance, and pretty much he just goes and makes a run for it. But while he's running to get to the temple, the 7 assassins are pretty much behind him and whatnot, chasing after him and stuff like that. And so pretty much Jack runs into the temple, and it's pretty much like a cat and mouse type game to where the assassins are trying to look for Jack and whatnot. And it's very it's not completely quiet. There's a little bit of music here and there and whatnot and stuff like that. But it was very, very tense. This scene was, because it was 7 against 1 here, and pretty much Jack was just hiding out in the shadows and whatnot. And there was a few fireflies and whatnot to illuminate the darker scenes and whatnot when they would walk into darker places of the temple and stuff like that. And that did play a little bit of a key role later. But pretty much Jack was hiding out from the assassins, and then pretty much they go into this big kind of throne room, basically, with a whole bunch of crates inside and stuff like that. And so pretty much Jack is hiding from all the assassins and whatnot, pretty much trying to keep quiet. And there's this little firefly in there that's pretty much lighting up and stuff like that. It wasn't really buzzing, but it was just kind of there and whatnot. And then pretty much when its light went out, that's when the assassins attacked, and pretty much Jack jumps out, and they have this pretty epic fight scene between all of them and stuff like that. And so pretty much Jack was getting pretty messed up by these people. They were really giving it to him and whatnot. And I mean, that's kind of to be expected. I mean, we have seen him fight multiple enemies before, obviously, in the past seasons and whatnot. But here, he was just getting wrecked. Basically, he had to get 3 different weapons, or so I think 3, 2. I know he had the axe and whatnot, and he was fighting with that for a little bit, and then he had the sword at first, but that just broke, or he lost it or something. Not his old sword, obviously. It was just a random regular sword. But pretty much he runs off again, and this scene was really well animated in my opinion. When he was running through the hallways and whatnot and stuff like that, and then the camera was following behind him and stuff like that. But pretty much he was running, and then he gets cornered by this one assassin, and pretty much he's trying to evade her for the most part, until she pulls out a little dagger. Well, probably not a dagger, a little, I want to say it's a ninja star or something like that, just pretty much a pointy object. And so pretty much Jack grabs the sword that she has, and he pretty much slices her neck in half. And then this scene, it was pretty good. It was very, it wasn't sad, but it was just you can tell when I saw it, I was just oh my gosh, how could this happen and so that, that's crazy and whatnot. And Jack kind of had the same expression. He was just oh crap, what did I do and whatnot. But it couldn't really we couldn't really be in that kind of state of feeling, because it was at the end of the episode, and we had to move stuff along. And so pretty much Jack's stabbed actually by that pointing object I talked about earlier. And so pretty much he's just trying to walk out of the temple and whatnot. And so basically he uses that sword that he had, the one he got from Scaramouche. I want to call him Scaramouche, but I know it's spelled with an M, so it's Scaramouche, something like that. But pretty much he uses that sword, and he pretty much blows up the temple with the sound and whatnot, and pretty much he just falls into the river all bloody and messed up and whatnot. But that was pretty crazy to see him actually kill a human being. I haven't personally seen all the episodes of Samurai Jack and whatnot like from the past seasons and whatnot. But I don't think he really killed any humans except for maybe the the bounty hunters and whatnot. I know a few of them were like humans and stuff like that, but I don't know if he killed them or not. I don't remember, but I mean that could be something there. But this episode was very, very tense, like really moving stuff along. There's like no time for filler in this in this season so far, at least. But I have to say this episode was really great, from like the animation and like art and whatnot. It's still looking very, very nice and polished and whatnot. Very good. The story, I mean, that's one thing I really like about Samurai Jack, is that there wasn't really much dialogue in this episode, or in most of the episodes. Like it's usually like the villains and whatnot that are talking and stuff like that. But here, like the only really talking scenes we had was, well, Jack, and that was kind of it, and Aku and whatnot. But like after that, it was kind of just like, quiet and whatnot, very tense and stuff like that. I really like that scene where Jack was like running away from the assassins and whatnot, because it was like slowed down and everything, and it just looked really good there in terms of animation and stuff like that. But yeah, oh yeah, the wolf, it died pretty much like by the end. That little symbolism there, like it killed all the other wolves and stuff like that, but in the end it died. So I don't know if that's gonna like symbolize what's gonna happen to Jack later on. I mean, people are discussing that and debating that and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know for sure, like we don't know for sure. We'll just have to see what happens and whatnot. But as far as this episode goes, I have to say it was really, really good. Highly recommend it. But tell me what you guys think of this episode. Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? I really couldn't imagine you guys hating it. I don't know why I even say that anymore. But if you guys did, please just comment that down below. Tell me what was your favorite part. Tell me what you guys think will happen next and whatnot between Jack and the rest of the assassins. Because in the preview, it seemed like he was still, fighting them and whatnot. So that should be pretty epic to see again. They were like fighting in the snow and whatnot. And I like all these different environments that they're kind of showing. Like in here, it was like mostly rainy in this episode and whatnot. In the last episode, it was mostly like sunny and whatnot. Like, well, probably not like sunny, but it was just like, kind of normal and whatnot, weather. And then in the next episode, it seems like it's going to be snowing and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool how they're going through all the, different kinds of weather and stuff like that. But yeah, that's about it for this review, guys. And until the next one, Silver Sun is out.